What's the real reason your back won't grow?
I'm Nate, the FitFutureMD. I teach you how to get healthy and rich. Make sure you subscribe and like and comment. Ask me any questions you want. Make sure you pick up that free health and nutrition course down below.
So what's the real reason that your back won't grow? Well, number one, you're not in a caloric surplus, right? You have to eat big to get big. Now, you can go into a lot of detail as far as what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat. You know, I've gone through that on this channel before, but I'll do it again. Basically, you want your protein to be high. So if you're trying to grow, you know, you're looking at 1.5 to 2 times your lean body mass or your weight in protein. So I'm trying to get if you're trying to get your back to grow and you're, you know, 200 pounds of lean body mass, then that's 400 grams of protein a day, right? And then I'm gonna do the same with carbs, right? So I'm gonna match the protein carbs. So 400 grams of protein, 400 grams of carbs, and then you'll have the equal calories of fat, right? So each macronutrient is the same, especially when you're trying to grow, right? And 178 grams of fat, right? And if you do that, just that one step, your back will probably grow based on what you're already doing, right? In life, nutrition is everything, okay? So that's number one. Number two is basically how you're working out, right? So, you know, we all have basically time crunches. We all have time crunches, right? So, you know, a lot of times you'll be in there given 30 seconds to 45 seconds in between sets, you know, and that's really a formula for losing body mass, right? Whereas when you're trying to gain body mass, you want to be recovered as much as possible in between your sets so that you can, you know, basically do your best in your next lift, right? So when you're trying to grow a body part, you do 2 minutes to 5 minutes in between each set, right? And that's going to get the proper amount of nutrition and proper amount of oxygen back to that area so that you can lift heavy, so that you can get the most out of each set, right? And you know, most people when they're in the gym, they're doing 30 to 45 seconds. They're in there, they're bored with whatever, you know, they're just there going through the motions, or they don't really love and enjoy the gym. They're just there because they know they need to be, you know, whatever the reason that you're there, other than you actually love lifting, you know. Like, for me, the gym is very therapeutic. You know, I can clear my mind. I can, you know, if I need to clear my mind, some days I can sit there and listen to a podcast, you know, in my headphones and learn something while I'm there. You know, sometimes you don't have any music on. You just have to, you know, you're just there to clear your mind and, you know, de-stress. And, you know, the gym can do all that depending on what you choose, right? So just keep that in mind. So that's number two, more time in between sets. All right, number three is still basically how you're training. Like, if you're not doing progressive overload, you're not really going to be growing, right? Like, you got to work up to 80% of whatever your max is, like, and you know, this is a big time adjustment, especially if you work out alone, right? Because lifting these heavy weights is kind of scary when you're doing it by yourself, right? So, you know, make sure you're using the squat racks. Make sure you're using the bars to catch the weight. Like if you can't get it that third rep, right? Since push yourself that way. You always got something to catch you if you need it, right? And it definitely took me jumping around the gym to figure out which rack was actually better for each exercise. Like I like the 2-bar rack, the bigger rack when squatting, but I like the 1-bar rack for bench press, stuff like that. So, but progressive overload is how you grow, how you get stronger. As a natural athlete, you have to increase your strength to gain size, right? So if your nutrition's on point, you're doing the right amount of time in between sets, and you're doing progressive overload, and on the back end doing bodybuilding, where you're doing 3 sets of 3, and then you drop the weight down and do 3 sets of 15, you're gonna have the optimal amount of tearing of the muscle fibers. The nutrition will come in to fill those nutrition needs, right? So you'll have the blood pump into that muscle to give it the oxygen and the nutrition that it needs, and that's how you grow. That's the formula, right? All right, and I'm gonna combine kind of the last two, and it's training to failure and not training frequently enough. Okay, so basically all that's under the umbrella of training. And so training to failure is not really what you're going for, right? You're doing progressive overload. You want to be able to come back and do it again, right? You don't want to be in a situation where you can't move your arms all day, or whatever, right? You want that's why it's progressive overload. When you train to failure, some bodybuilders do that, right? And they do it in a big off season. They do it, because they're trying to grow. But, bodybuilders are not natural, right? They use steroids, and those extra hormones, can help them recover faster than a natural person, right? And so naturally, you're not going to push yourself to failure. You're going to use what's called training frequency, right? You want to be able to train more often with progressive overload and eat right, and you can get the results similar to a professional bodybuilder, but you're not going to get to that freaky nature, right? As a natural athlete, and you really don't want to be. You want to be healthy, right? This is about staying fit forever, being healthy, right? So you want to grow, you want to look good, and you want to be healthy. You want to live forever. Maybe not live forever, but you want to stay fit forever. So then you can actually do progressive overload, and over time, you hit all 52 weeks, you never have to take a day off. You can actually grow a lot faster than even people that are on steroids, that train to failure. Like, you should not be training to failure, basically, is the point. And the reason for that is because of training frequency. You want to be able to, that next week you're right back to it. Like, you don't want to be sitting, you did squats last Monday and then the next Monday your legs are still tore up. Like, and you really see like these old school bodybuilder post their workouts, and they're doing legs twice a week, or they're doing back twice a week, and you're like, well, how the hell are they doing that? Well, they're doing progressive overload. They're doing progressive overload and not training to failure to be able to do stuff twice a week, right? You train to failure, you're doing it once every 2 weeks, like real true failure, right? And people are doing that. They're going in there. Some people call it intensity, right? But it's really not intensity. It's really just how much your body can do. And over time, your body gets stronger and you can do more. So like when you first start out doing sets of 15, after doing those sets of 3, like you're probably not making it to 15. You might make it to 10, 12, whatever. But 3 weeks later, you're making it to 15 no problem, and you got to go up on that weight, right? So I think that's really the key is consistency over time. And so you add that with nutrition. So to summarize, nutrition, you got to be in a caloric surplus, got to add more time in between sets. Then everything else is basically how you're training progressive overload, back in with bodybuilding. Don't train to failure, train more frequently. Be able to make sure you're there every week, 7 days a week, doing a body part for 52 weeks. And that's how you grow. That's how you grow your back, right? That's really how you grow anything in your body. If you're in a caloric surplus for a year, you're going to hit your goal. So I'm Nate. I'm the FitFutureMD. Hope you liked the video. Hope it helps you. Leave me some comments down below. Tell me what you think. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.